Thank you for tuning in. This is online training for the new Solartron Metrology Compass Signal Conditioners. We're just going to do a quick technical review. First, we have two different types of signal conditioners. First, the SC1, which is a standard signal conditioner, then the SCD1, which is a signal conditioner with a readout. Now, either of these conditioners can connect to standard Solartron LVDTs as well as half-bridge probes, but they can also connect to TESA specs probes as well as MARPO specified probes. However, if you're looking to connect to a non-Solartron sensor, please obtain the probe specifications for reference during setup. Now, Solartron Metrology has manufactured an all-in-one type signal conditioner. For this conditioner, first, of course, for setup, you'll want to plug in any LVDT that is up to 300 millimeters. And again, it could be full bridge, half bridge, TESA spec, MARPOS, etc. Then you'll want to power it with either 5 volts from a USB port or 24 volts via a power pack, which we have as an option. Then you can set up the LVDT with the signal conditioner using a free provided software pack that you download. Now you have a multitude of options for outputs here. First, of course, you have via the USB, you can output to a software package such as Orbit GCS. Then you have a couple of different PLC options. You can output via plus minus 10 volts VDC or 0 to 10 volts VDC, and you also have an option for Modbus. There's also an option for I/O, where you can have just a simple go, no-go signal. Now, in terms of the connections, just a few quick reviews. First, on one side, you have the USB-C port. And again, this powers the unit and can provide connection to the PC. Please use the cord that Solartron provides. For some third-party cords, perhaps like, for example, the one from your charger, that might not provide a proper connection. Then on the other side, you have connections for the serial connections, which includes Modbus, as well as the 0 volt on pin 5. And then you also have the voltage output on pin 9, which can be, again, plus minus 10 volts, 0 to 10 volt, or an I/O. You also have some LEDs and some buttons on the conditioners. Now, the LED on the left-hand side, that just signifies the reading from the probe. Then the LED on the right-hand side can flash green or red based on the tolerance setting. Now, the SCD1 with the display also has some buttons for setup. That is actually a separate instructional video that you can link to above, but you can zero it as well as set a tolerance setting. Now, your first step for the setup is to actually go to the Solartron website and download the latest Orbit support pack for Windows. Then, take the mini USB to USB cable that has been provided to you, plug one side into your laptop. Now, make sure you use the Solartron version that has been provided to you because other off-market brands might not necessarily have the signal capability. Then, of course, on the unit itself, connect the probe you intend to use, and then the other side of the mini USB cable. Now, once you are all connected, go ahead and open the Orbit 3 suite. If you'll notice, there is now a configuration utility for the Compass signal conditioners. Then click Find Devices. If you'll notice, when a device is found, the number in there will match the serial number on the unit itself. Then click Calibrate. This is where you calibrate the probe. Now have the sensor fully out or fully in, and then set the sensor type, LVDT or half bridge. Then after you click Continue, you will want to choose the frequency. For a standard Solartron probe, the frequency is 5K. Now the next step you'll want to do, if you'll see that needle in the center there, you will actually want to take whatever micrometer you're using or gauge block and slowly move the probe tip in towards the center of the measurement range. Now, if you see, once you get to the node, that particular needle will be at the very top. So once you get it centered like this, then click Continue. Then you enter the total measurement range. In this case, it's a plus minus 5 millimeter probe, so the total range is 10. Now the next step, using a calibrated micrometer or similar, like a slip gauge, now you start to move it, the rest of its range, to its maximum calibrated position, which in this case will be plus 5 millimeters. Now then you select the probe reading direction, and now the sensor is calibrated. The next step you can take is now the validation of the calibration you just did. This is where you can actually just take a live reading and see if this matches up to what you want to have. If you wish, you could just click Finish, go back and calibrate again. Then another configuration is the filter. Now this of course means you can do a minimum filtering or medium filtering or high filtering. Now high filtering will give you a much more steady reading. However, it will not be outputting as fast a rate as a low filtering. But if you'll notice the reading itself, the more you raise the filter, the steadier the reading is. Then there's the configuration for the high and low limits. So this is if you are checking a tolerance. Here it's pretty simple. You can actually use the mouse to move it, or if you click Set, then you can actually set like a tolerance. Here we're going to do -2 millimeters. And then on the high side, +2 millimeters. Now if you see, if you move the readout itself and look on the readout, you will see that the limit LED flashes from green to red. The next thing you can configure is the digital data. Here you can actually set the data output between millimeters or inches. So this would be for both a USB output as well as for the Modbus output. This is also where you can change the Modbus settings, including the baud rate and the parity. You also have a section where you can configure the number of significant digits, go from 4 to 1. Typically customers want up to 4. Then lastly, you can convert or configure the analog output. Here you can change it from -10 volts to +10 volts or to 0 to 10 volts. And then there is the I/O option where you can actually set it where you can set the voltage limit where if it's out of limit, you could have it be +5 or +10 or even -5 or -10 if you want. And then when you are in limit, you can have it be 0 volts. Now you should be ready to go with using your Compass signal conditioner. Now there are 2 more training sessions. One is to connect to Orbit GCS, and you can use that to perhaps see a reading on a screen or output to Excel. Also, there's another quick training pack on using the 3 buttons to set up the SCD one with the display. Also, you can just contact your Solartron representative. Thank you and have a good day.